Hello everyone, and for our final presentation, we'll explore the last two topics, the principle of taste and how everything comes together in multi-sensory marketing. So let's begin with section 7, the principle of taste. Taste is a unique sense because in marketing it has two distinct meanings that we must manage. First is gastronomic taste. This is a physical sense of tasting like flavors, sweet, sour, and salty, which relates to food and beverage. A brand like Coca-Cola has built its empire on a secret, protected gastronomic taste. And second is aesthetic taste. This is a person's sense of style, their preferences in fashion, design, and art. In Vietnamese, we often call this gu thẩm mỹ. A fashion brand like Jens, for example, caters to specific aesthetic taste. A successful marketer must understand and appeal to both of these types. As you can see here is a hip hop test that the chains can provide their customer with. A critical characteristic of taste is that it is fundamentally multi-sensory. We rarely experience taste in isolation. Our perception of flavor is heavily influenced by our other senses. Sight is crucial. The color of food sets our expectation for its taste. Smell, in fact, account for most of what we perceive as flavor, and sounds, a crunch or a chip that can make it taste and fresher. A fascinating example of this is a transparent milky flavor from flavor water from Japan. Our eye sees it at quarter, but our nose and tongue expect tea. So this is sensory conflict is what makes a product so intriguing and demonstrates size can dominate our perception of taste. The nước lọc vị trà sữa, this one is gone viral when I was a kid and is give me a very unique experience with the water bottle of water. Okay, both gastronomic and aesthetic tastes are deeply shaped by our culture. For gastronomic taste, what is a delicacy is in one culture can be challenging in another. Durian, as the king of fruits in Southeast Asia, is a perfect example. The same applies to shrimp paste in the Vietnamese cuisine. And for aesthetic taste, preferences in design might vary widely. Minimalist interior design is popular globally, but it is very different from the vibrant and colorful aesthetic often preferred in Indian homes, for example. Now let's look at application for in the service of environments. One of the most effective tools is providing tasting samples. Why does this work so well? First, it reduces the customer purchase risk. Second, it creates a sense of reciprocity, a feeling that we should buy something after receiving a gift. And third, it drives impulse purchases. Supermarkets in Vietnam like Aeon are master of this, often having employees offering new samples of new products, which leads to a more satisfying shopping experience. Beyond direct sample, we must consider tasting aesthetics. This refers to the aesthetic taste of the environment itself, which directly impacts our perception of the gastronomic taste. In other words, food and drinks are perceived as tasting better when consumed in a beautiful, clean, pleasant environment. This is a core principle for the entire fine dining industry, where the Michelin star restaurants are judged not only on the taste of the food, but on the entire aesthetic experience of the service. And for many brands, which we can call taste good, their specific flavor is their primary point of differentiation and a core brand asset. This unique taste is often closely guarded secret. Classic examples including the secret 11 herbs and spices recipe of KFC, the unique and secret flavor profile of Coca-Cola, and the specific Robusta Arabica blend that defines a cup of Tran Nguyen Legend coffee. This concept applies to non-food items and refers to aesthetic taste. Brands can symbolize certain lifestyle or goal, and customers buy these brands to express their own personal aesthetic taste. For example, a person who wears clothes from Muji or Uniqlo is often expressing a taste for minimalism and practicality. In contrast, someone who wears Gucci is expressing a taste for luxury, boldness, and high fashion. The brands become a symbol of their personal taste. And to see a brilliant application of this, let's look at our case study, IKEA. IKEA is a furniture store focusing on aesthetic taste. but they masterfully use gastronomic taste to enhance the shopping experience. How could they do that? Okay, the first one they have the IKEA restaurant is a strategic tool to extend customer dwell time. Tired shopper can rest and eat, giving them the energy to continue shopping. It also makes the store more family friendly. Their signature taste goods like the famous Swedish meatball or low-cost hot dogs have become a beloved part of the brand experience and in the destination themselves. And strategically, IKEA used food to solve a key customer pain point, hunger and fatigue, reinforcing their brand image of providing smart, affordable solutions. Now that we have explored all five senses individually, and it's our time for our final and the most important section, section 8, multi-sensory principle, where we bring everything together. The core concept here is sensory integration. Our brain does not process senses in isolation. It combines them into a single, unified experience. The core principle is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. A great multisensory experience is far more powerful than the sum of its individual sensory parts. And this is balanced by the optimal stimulation theory, which suggests that we don't want too much or too little in the sensory input. The goal for marketer is to find that the just right level of stimulation that is pleasant and engaging, not chaotic or boring. Let's look at how this interaction works in practice. For vision and touch, a pillow that looks fluffy in a picture is perceived as being even softer when a customer actually touches it. The visual set for the expectation for the touch for sound vision in car adds the powerful roaring sound of an engine can make the car look faster and more powerful on screen. And for smell and taste, as we discussed, around 80% of what perceived as flavor is actually derived from the smell, from the nose. And the goal in a service environment is to create a holistic atmosphere where all sensory cues work together. The interaction of hearing and smell is extremely powerful for setting a mood. A bookstore cafe that combines subcharged music with the smell of coffee and old books creates an unmatched, cozy atmosphere. The trial of seeing, smelling, and touching creates the physical feeling of a space. A luxury spa, for example, combines minimalist design with natural material and a relaxing lavender scent and a thick soft cotton towels to create a completely immersive and tranquil experience. The golden rule that governs all this is congruence. All sensory cues must fit together and reinforce the same brand messages. Incongruent cues create confusion and a negative experience. For example, imagine a high-end seafood restaurant. It looks elegant with warm lighting, but it has had a strong smell of bleach and it is blasting loud pop music. This sensory clash would immediately signal that something is wrong, making customers feel the place is unprofessional and the foods might be fresh. Might not be fresh. The food might not be fresh. And we use all of our sense to evaluate products, which leads to a more confident purchase decision. Think about how you would buy an orange. You use vision to see if the color is vibrant. You use touch to feel the weight and the thinness of the peel. And we use smell to detect its characteristics with aroma. All this multisensory information helps you judge the orange quality before you even taste it. And interestingly, sometimes a slight sensory mismatch can create an intriguing surprise that captures our attention. However, this is a high-risk, high-reward system, high-reward strategy. A famous example is from high-end gastronomy, where a chef served a dessert that looked exactly like a tomato, but when you eat it, it had a sweet strawberry flavor. And this non-congruence creates a unique and memorable experience that gets people talking and discuss about it, which can help create word of mouth. Ultimately, the goal of sensory marketing is to create a seamless and consistent experience across all the brand's touch points. This includes the physical environment like the store look, sound, smell, and feel. It includes the product itself like its design, haptics, and sounds. And increasingly it includes online environment. This is a new frontier where the brands like Nike use high quality visual video with great sound design and vivid sensory language in their description to try and evoke the other sense in the digital space. And our final case study, Kia Motors, is a perfect example of a multi-sensory product. Kia has strategically used the sensory design to elevate its brand from a budget to stylish and high value. For fiction, they hired top designer for sleek, modern exterior and interior. For touch, they use high quality material and focus on the satisfied feel of the steering wheel and buttons. For sound, they engineer the powerful but pleasant sound of the engine and the solid touch of the door closing. And smell, they curate a specific new car smell that signals cleanliness and quality, avoiding cheap plastic odors. Through this multi-sensory approach, they have successfully changed the perception of their entire brand. And this is the end of this video. Thank you for listening.